This is Josiah Plays Pillars of Eternity. We're in Galvino's workshop, creeping around a little bit, seeing what we can see. Starting some shit with some unstable constructs. See if I can one-shot this fucking thing. I can't. But apparently it's not going to come after me, so
got him.
That's how I handle that business. I found the secret to killing unstable constructs. Am I like outside of its vision range or something?
Steady does it.
I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. Alright, that thing is gonna chase me. Does it have buddies with it? Has a misshapen construct. Do 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 do.
Hey. Hey.
Is it coming? Or did it turn back?
All right then.
Oh, there's the misshapen. Wait, where the fuck are you going? Oh, there's an unstable one.
Hmm?
Hey.
Everybody back.
Hmm? Got him.
That's the other thing we can do is just kite these. Try to knock this one down. Here, cool. Handled. Alright, very, very carefully. I'm going to take them across one at a time because otherwise they're going to be retarded and step on... I shouldn't say retarded like that, I'm sorry. They're going to be dumb and step on this thing.
Hey.
If I don't shepherd them through there.
I'm ready.
Following your lead.
What?
Huh?
What's up, Iron Construct?
Hey.
Just send him in.
Unsung.
Detonate! I think detonate was a bad idea. Yeah, because Grieving Mother is blowing up allies when she did that. My bad. Exceptional rapier. Hello.
Right. Steady does it.
Okay, hold up. Before I go that way, I want to go this way. So they were doing some weapons practice, apparently. A fine pistol. And a cell key. Plain iron key found discarded in Galvino's workshop. Now, this workshop turned out to be a lot more extensive and involved than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting to just walk in and have it be like one room, and here's a Galvino when I talk to him and I leave. Well... let's see what this does. I knew this was a secret door, see? And you could only open it from the other side. Just like I said. I'll take those, since I used some. This must be the final room. Looking at the map, this has got a final room sort of vibe here. Uh-oh. Oh, I hate when they teleport me inside the room any old way they want. There's Galvino. He's got his own special portrait. An elderly man hunches over a cluttered desk in the back of the workshop. His flesh is pulled tightly around thin, fragile-looking bones, except around his neck, where it hangs in loose wattles. He turns as you enter, a scowl already chiseled into his lined face.
Back again? I told you.
That sounds like Matt Mercer, the same voice actor that does Adair and Aloth. He hesitates, squinting at you from behind smudged and dusty spectacles. He never talked to me before.
Of course, a fresh fool to replace the last fools. What brings you stomping through my workshop, eh?
He draws his words out, looking you up and down. A sneer creeps across his face. Watch your tone, old man.
This one's got spirit.
He erupts with a ragged cackle. Still wheezing with mirth, he turns to the bronze golem over his shoulder.
What do you think of that, my girl? A kindred soul?
You better hope not.
Ooh, the Devil of Karok. We've seen some references to her. She has a cool-sounding robot voice. The voice echoes from within the golem.
You would miss me if I were gone, Aimura. For who would tolerate your barbs and insults?
He laughs. I'll wait and say nothing stoically.
But you come seeking the White Forge, like they all do.
He turns back to you.
Boys with smooth cheeks and wild dreams. Girls with bright ribbons tied next to their scabbards.
His voice rises and falls with the sing-song of mockery.
Old men and women, too, seeking a final blaze of glory before they're snuffed out for another turn at the wheel. Sound familiar?
His smile is rigid as he looks at you, and the corner of his eye twitches. It's just another job.
Verus, just another job to find the treasure of a civilization beneath an impenetrable keep. Gelarde, what a thrill your life must be. I have this conversation with every pig-headed swashbuckler those Postinagos and stalwarts send here.
Those fucking Postinagos, whatever that means. I'd like to note, I am not a pig-headed swashbuckler, sir.
Go see Galvino, they say. Surely he'll help you.
Must have slipped their minds what a busy and important fellow you are.
In the silence that follows, the temperature in the room seems to drop. Calvino glares at her.
I should have let them stone you. Would have silenced your endless rattling forever.
The hanging folds of skin beneath his neck tremble.
Then you'd have naught but those frostbitten inbreds for company.
Frostbitten inbreds. I guess this is what it'd be like if Aloth and Isilmir were two separate people. You're upset. There's an old wound with Stalwart, then?
The spiteful imbeciles destroyed my career, ruined years of work. But let us focus on the reason for your visit, yes?
He laughs bitterly, and then he clears his throat.
The villagers and their adventurers hammer and pry at the battery as if they were laying siege to some moldering lord's keep.
He swats the air in front of his face.
But those stones were laid by some of the finest builders ever to have lived, disciples of Abidan in the truest sense.
That's the Golem god.
They will not fall by the whims of any kith. And the door itself, it is infused with living essence.
He holds his hands before him, and his eyes are wide with wonder. The dwarves themselves must have had a way of getting in.
Perfetto! This is the crux of the matter.
He claps his hands together.
The Pargrunen of Durgan's battery perished within their own keep, victims of a violent disagreement among their own commandants.
His mouth twists into a wicked grin.
Surely in the village you have heard stories, no? Disappearing caravans, tracks in the snow, screams from the high towers.
He pauses, watching your expression with a raconteur's glee. Well, go on. I like this story so far.
The work of spirits still trapped in the battery, and a testament to those impenetrable walls.
Spirits trapped in there, okay. He raps on the mortared stone of his own home.
But the door of the keep, the one the Pargrunen filled with essence, it was made to listen, to recognize its masters.
So it's a living door with actual, like, souls in it or whatever. Go on.
Traditional Optapo cultures revolved around language. Words revealed who they were and where they were from.
An interesting tradition. I could start introducing everyone in verse.
That is why you need a contact.
He holds up a twitching finger. Apparently I would know what that was if I knew lore or I was a dwarf. What's a Cantek?
Some liken it to a poem, others to an anthem. In reality, it is more than either.
He holds one hand out, turning it this way and that in a balancing motion.
A contact is a statement of purpose, a declaration of identity. Each is unique to its stronghold.
Ha! Seal your door with a key of words, and any liar can talk his way through. There's nothing built of words that won't break when the slightest stress is applied.
Thus, to enter a fortress like Durgan's battery, you would stand at the gate and recite its cantic.
That makes sense. So I just need to know the Cantek. No probs. He spreads his arms, his face aglow.
Very well. Where would I learn this Cantek?
To learn the Cantek, you must speak with one of the dwarves of Durgan's battery. A shame they are all dead, no?
He rubs his hands together, pacing.
But no doubt their souls live on in one or two of the villagers of Stalwart, like fine wine poured into a cheap pot.
Derision curls his lips.
But to identify them, that is the first problem. You would need the skills of an animancer.
He wags a finger at the ceiling.
I'm a watcher.
The golem swivels her head sharply towards you. Her mask of a face and the glass eyes behind it betray no emotion, but it seems as if she's watching you carefully.
A watcher? Diverus? If this is true, then you could find a sole descendant from Durgan's battery, no question. But the greater difficulty remains.
Calvino rubs his gaunt, whiskered cheeks.
You would have to learn the Cantek from the dormant soul. And to do that, you would have to awaken it.
Awaken someone? How would I do that?
An awakening is merely the jolting of a dormant soul into consciousness.
He makes a bursting motion with his hands, splaying his fingers wide.
When such things happen normally, it is because something has reminded the subject of a past life, often violently so.
He smacks his workbench with surprising vigor.
Thus, to awaken one of the former dwarves of Durgan's battery, you will need to address that soul, and preferably by name.
He folds his hands together, steepling his fingers.
But show some care. When you examine these souls, whatever it is you watchers do, you may see images, memories.
He leans forward, his back hunched.
These are moments of special import. What you see will tell you much about the person, and perhaps the condition in which they awaken.
He raises his hoary eyebrows and tilts his head back.
Awaken them from a traumatic memory, and who knows? Maybe they awaken thirsty for blood. Or maybe you awaken someone else.
He cackles again.
Here, this has been tuned to the Aeon of Durgan's battery. Use it near the villagers, and it should tell you if one has a soul old enough to have come from the battery.
He rummages around and produces an unfamiliar device. You have gained an item. Calvino's resonance amplifier added to inventory. It's science.
But this awakening would be permanent, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. Whoever you awaken will live with the memories and the personality of a past life. Maybe peacefully, maybe not.
His bony shoulders rise in a shrug. I'm sure Aloth would love this.
That is why you must pay attention to the soul you would awaken, no? It is a monumental thing to impose on another, but these are the very people who wish to rediscover the White Forge, Verus?
Verus. He removes his spectacles and polishes the dirty lenses with his tunic. Alright, been there, done that.
So, the Cantek is all I need?
Who can say? None have yet opened Durgan's battery.
Calvino raises his hands, palms up.
But the ones that came before you, I think they got close. You may wish to find them and see what they discovered.
A journal and a tile.
Where would they be?
I have not seen them since they first came to see me several weeks ago. But word has reached my ears that they crossed an ogre matron.
His mouth twists into a wry line. Well, I killed that ogre matron.
Who can say?
Let me say the other thing.
The one's most interesting.
He adjusts his spectacles as he peers at the tile.
They spent many days at the battery door. This looks like something that once belonged there.
He taps the tile.
I see. Thank you for your help.
You have much work ahead of you, as do I.
He nods and turns back to his desk.
I'm going with her.
Oh, really? The golem looks between you, her neck turning on its oiled joint.
You? Go to Stalwart? Is this your macabre sense of humor, or has something gone to rust in that beautiful head I crafted?
Calvino stares at her agape. So he made her.
No one will bother me while I'm with her. Besides, I can help her find people in Stalwart.
The golem's burnished face is eerily impassive.
You haven't been to Stalwart in 13 years. And this Watcher sees souls. What help could you be? Besides, I have need of you here. You owe whatever remains of your wicked life to me.
A frown sours on his lips as he taps his chest with a crooked finger. The golem says nothing, but her essence smolders. Resentment rises from her in shimmering waves. Waves of resentment, huh? How does that work? She swivels her head to look at you. She keeps her head on a swivel! Okay. She probably stays frosty also, because she's in a very cold part of the world. She keeps her head literally on a swivel.
What's the story between you two?
This charming specimen is a convicted murderer. The Devil of Carrick, she's called.
Calvino laughs, coughing and wheezing. Convicted murderer sounds like my kind of peeps.
Mighty fine of you to start with my good qualities, and you wonder why we don't get more visitors.
Killed over a dozen people before they finally caught up to her in Stalwart. Perfect company for lonely camps and mountain passes, no?
He nudges you, all the while grinning wickedly at the motionless golem.
Hey, I know how to start a campfire.
The only reason she's not a frozen corpse is because I convinced the old mayor to let me try an experiment.
A shadow passes over his face. Person's soul into a metal body.
You put a person's soul into a metal body?
He leans back, raising his hands.
Into a work of art! Look at this! Craftsmanship worthy of a jeweler!
He traces the scroll work that runs along the golem's jaw.
Fully articulated joints, capable of grasping a pen and writing her own name.
He grabs her hand and delicately bends her tapered fingers.
And of crushing your throat.
She snatches her hand away. She's kind of sassy for a golem.
Show me another smith anywhere in the Deerwood who is capable of such delicacy and precision. She is a masterpiece.
Calvino steps back and takes a longer look at her.
Why did you build her?
Why build a fortress or a village or anything? To make something that keeps, that...
A disgusted sigh rattles in his throat.
It was the early days of the Legacy. My peers in the colleges of Animancy were filling the Hollowborn with the souls of animals.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well. He pauses, scratching his chin.
I thought there was a better way.
He is silent for several seconds, his gaze growing distant.
One with a Plum Academy job back in Salona. Don't forget that part.
He glares at her with narrowed eyes. Uck! Now we come to the truth. Reputation is everything in the Republics, and that reputation is built on success.
I take it your experiment didn't go over so well with the rest of the village.
Ah, here we go.
She rolls her eyes, rasping them against their sockets.
They were going to stone her anyway. Why not allow her to be put to some useful purpose?
His lips curl back from yellowing teeth.
My life's ambition, to serve somebody's useful purpose.
Better than no purpose at all.
I approached Mayor Sinahiod and begged. He saw the potential and allowed me the privilege of attempting my little experiment.
He sneers at the words and the indignity they recall. His shoulders are stooped and his teeth bared.
Then I accomplished what few animancers have even dreamed of. No academic support, no patron. Just me in the middle of nowhere.
He jabs a finger into his concave chest.
Oh, now you got 'em all wound up.
Wound up. See, that's funny because you're wound up. You're like a clockwork, and wound up is... Never mind. You got gears inside you. I'm making a joke.
I transferred a fully intact soul from a living subject to a fabricated body. She retained her personalities, her memories, all of it.
He claws at the air with one thick, veined hand. That does sound like a pretty difficult thing to do.
Yet the villagers saw only a stolen corpse.
He throws up his hands. Why is she called the Devil of Karak?
She committed her first crime in the village of Karak. Burned a family alive in their home.
He shrugs. You know, whatever. As people do.
Did the same thing in half a dozen other villages, but their name stuck.
Just randomly burning people alive in their homes, huh? Well, what's the deal with that? She's got some unresolved issues, I guess. Aren't you afraid she'll murder you?
She may be mad, but she's no fool. She wouldn't survive long on her own.
Calvino shrugs.
If the villagers didn't send a hunting party after her, the Eremans would claim her. Her joints and mechanisms require maintenance, and she cannot perform all of it herself.
Not the elements.
See, he's reminding me, in case I get any bright ideas.
That's all I wanted to know.
She's a fine specimen, her personality notwithstanding.
He waves one hand in a circular motion. The golem says nothing, but her essence smolders. Resentment rises from her in shimmering waves. Again. Even more resentment. Even shimmerier waves. Her swivelly head on a swivel swivels to look at you. Swivelly again. I'd like her to travel with me.
Quay? No, you don't know what you ask.
He shakes his head, waving his hands. Oh, I wasn't asking, buddy.
This woman, the Devil of Karak, she was a notorious murderer, burned people alive all over the region.
Yeah, I'll watch out.
Besides, she works for me. After all, I am the one who preserved her.
He straightens his back and looks you up and down, taking your measure. Let me parade her around town. It'll infuriate those villagers. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
So you get use of the Devil's services, and I get the satisfaction of knowing those stiffnecks are sweating through their small clothes, eh?
Calvino scratches his jaw. He sighs, but a smug grin has already worked its way across his face.
It's a deal.
It's a deal.
Fine price for a blacksmith striker. Suppose I should be flattered.
She turns to Calvino.
And there you have it, a bargain.
Okay, Durance. I'm gonna need you to... What happens if I hit cancel right now? Gives you a sardonic grin.
A moment. You are going back to Stalwart, yes? Perhaps you could do me a favor.
Calvino gives you a thoughtful frown. Tell me about this favor.
There is a man in the village named Grinde, the head fisherman.
I met him. He weaves his fingers together.
The rest of Stalwart kisses his feet because he fills their stinking blades with speckleback. But I know he's not as virtuous as he seems.
His face crinkles in vicious glee. Seems like you have a history with Grinda.
That self-righteous meddler engineered my eviction from the village. He turned them all against me.
Maybe because you're a fucking psycho making monsters.
Now I want him to feel the scorn of those mush-brained imbeciles.
What exactly do you want me to do to him?
Humiliate him, of course. Show his neighbors what he truly is, and let him live with the disgrace.
He points vaguely in the direction of the village, his thin arm trembling.
He's always been a ripple sponge addict. Just got good at hiding it once his sainted sister died and left him in charge of the fishery. But he keeps a stash in the fishery, sneaks in at night when the others have gone home, and emerges sluggish and red-eyed a few hours later. I want you to expose him. Go to the fishery after dark when it's empty. Find his ripple sponge and show it to Renengild.
Okay. Sure. Exposing dudes is what I'm all about. Right. I see.
Do not answer me now. But when you return to that festering eyesore and smell the stink of fish that hangs in the air, consider what I've said.
He holds up a hand. He grins.
Your misgivings collect like grime on a doorstep. But think, if this Green Day is a fraud, does he not deserve to be exposed? But be sure to approach the fishery by night, when it's empty. They will give you no end of trouble if they see you stealing during the day.
Farewell. Alright, she's gone. So, here's the deal. I'm gonna quickly, okay? I'm gonna quickly reload my game. Use is 100 per encounter. Hopefully that should be sufficient. I'm gonna quickly do something. Super quickly. Super quickly. Super quickly. I'm going to jam through that conversation really fast. Because I want to make a little adjustment to something. I want... Oh, don't tell me. I gotta fight some shit again. What did I do? Damn it. I fucked up, didn't I? I fucked up, didn't I?
Got him!
My bad.
Nice and slow.
Hey. Hey.
Real quick, we're gonna take them out. Take them out.
Huh?
Whoop, change of plans. Change of plans.
Yeah? Yeah?
What the fuck? How big of an explosion is that shit? She's way back here. Hold on. Crit's breathing mother. That is a ludicrous explosion. She's way back here. She should have been safe.
I have.
Well, that's not the way I wanted things to go down.
They shall see nothing while I see much.
Hey.
They shall see nothing while I see much. Right.
Alright, so I fucked up reloading this game. I didn't realize it was this far back. My bad. Sorry about that. Watching me play the same shit over twice in a row, basically. But I had my reasons. So before I open this door, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a look at Durance here. Durance has a bunch of stuff I might want to keep. I forgot he had a summon item too. I never used that. Because I am thinking I'm going to replace Durance. Like in my permanent party. I think I'm going to kick Durance to the curb and take the Devil of Karok. And if I'm going to do that, I don't want him to take all this stuff with him, because then we don't have it in the party. So I guess I will shove all of his crap in the stash for the moment. can keep this ring because nobody but him would use it, and he can keep his own staff. Alright, so Crazy Durance, take your naked ass out of here.
What?
Thinking I'm gonna replace him. And if I decide not to, you know, no big deal, but... So now I will... quick save. So now I'm just gonna jam through this really fast.
Back again. Of course, a fresh fool to replace the last fool. What do you think?
You better hope.
You would miss me if I were gone, Aimura. But you boy, old men and women too, seeking a final... Veru, I have go seek... I should have... The village, but those, they will not fall by the whims of Perfetto, the Pargru. Surely, the work of, but the door of the keep, the one the Pargrunen filled with that tradition, that is a can. Thus, to enter a fortress like Durgan's battery, you would stand at the gate and recite its cantic. To learn the but to identify. A watch? You would have to learn the cantic from an awake winds. Thus, but these are awakened here. This is whoever that it is who can say. But the ones that came before you, they spent many days. You have much.
I'm going with
You,
nominal but
besides,
mighty
killed over.
Hey,
The only reason she's not into fully.
and of
Show me another. It was
I'm just going back through here really fast.
They were going.
my life.
I approached then.
Oh, nice.
I Yet the villagers saw she committed the same thing in half. She may be if the
See, he's reminding me. In case I get any bright ideas.
she's a fine. Quay? No. This woman, the devil of. Besides, she works for me, so it's a deal.
Fine price for a...
And there you have it.
So now
A
I'm back to
bargain.
this point. So dismiss
You
Durance.
walk your path, I'll walk mine.
Bring Daredevil of Karak into the team. Hit accept. Gives you a sardonic grin.
A moment. You are going back to...
Yeah, we-
there
we've
is
heard
the
about the
rest of
fisherman.
Stalwart kissing that self. Now I want humiliate. He's all... But I want you. Do not... You're But be sure to approach the fishery by night, when it's empty. They will give you no end of trouble if they see you stealing during the day.
Alright, this is back to where we were. I had questions about the Devil of Karak.
As must the gods themselves.
He looks to the ceiling and opens his hands. Enough about her. Let's discuss another matter.
Something else?
Tell me again about how to awaken someone.
You're the Watcher, so you know better than anyone, Diverus. You must find a sole descendant of one of the dwarves of Durgan's battery. Talk to the villagers, look into their souls, whatever it is you do.
He waves a hand.
When you find such a one, remind the sleeping soul of its old name. Awaken it thus, and it can teach you the cantic.
I wanted to know more about the expeditioners who came to you before.
As would I, but there is little to tell. They never gave their names.
He tugs at his whiskers.
But they seem to know more about the battery than the others, which is unusual because they did not seem like typical adventurers.
I think we're talking about the Lead and Key group now. He raises his snowy eyebrows.
Their hands were smooth and marked with ink, not scars, and they traveled light. Unusually so.
He rubs at his chin. What were those constructs I encountered in your workshop? By the way, I destroyed the shit out of all of them.
Other projects, they are none of your concern.
He waves a hand and looks quickly away from you. You seem pretty eager to change the subject.
feels dark.
He mutters furiously under his breath, raising his hands to the ceiling.
For years I've been trying to create another like the Devil of Carrick. Yet those post-Enagos in Starworld destroyed my machinery.
His drooping skin trembles in his rage.
Now, I can only create these broken, mindless things. The devil remains my most perfect creation.
His lips twist with the taste of something bitter. Why do you need more golems?
I can't present the Devil of Carrick to the academies, can I? A mad woman and a murderer? No. I need to bring a success to the republics.
He rubs his hands together, frowning. Wait. Where have you found the souls to create these other golems?
Smugglers, slavers, fugitives. The kind of riffraff that pass this way. Rarely missed, and good work to keep my little devil busy.
He shrugs. So he's just having her go out and abduct random people that wander by, so he can force their souls into constructs, which are then become mindless, broken things. What a dick move. I've heard enough. Galvino was already lost in thought, his eyes twitching at some mental calculation. Farewell. Alright, so first of all, the Recluse of the White March was updated. Find a villager in Stoward whose sole ancestor is a dwarf of Durgan's Battery. According to Galvino, if I'm to enter Durgan's Battery, I'll need its Cantek, a poem the dwarves would have used back when the keep was active. Unfortunately, anyone who would have known it is dead. However, Galvino suggested that Stalwart may contain soul descendants of those dwarves. Given my abilities, they won't be hard to find. I could learn the Cantek by awakening one of those souls. That may also doom someone to a fate like mine, or Merwald's. New quest, the one that got away. I've met a strange new ally in the White March, a golem with the soul of a murderer. She asked to accompany me shortly after I met her and her master. Keep an eye on the Devil of Carrick. The Devil of Carrick asked to travel with me, after I mentioned that I'm a watcher and that I'm returning to the village where she was captured. I'm not sure what she's after, but I'll be sure to keep a close watch on her. Fisherman's Penance. Search the fishery at night. Galvino believes that Grinde keeps a stash of ripple sponge somewhere in the fishery. He warned me to search the building at night when all the fishermen have gone home. Alright, so... all kind of quests.
Right here. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You're worse than Galvino. I could still kill you in your sleep. Rub it in, why don't you? Rub it in, why don't you? Rub it in, why don't you? I could still kill you in your sleep.
Alright. So here is the Devil of Carrick. Pretty interesting looking character. She has a fine spear and a Devil of Carrick's body. What happens if she takes her body off? Does she become, like, disembodied? Like, she can't wear... I can't be like, hey, would you like to throw this, fine armor on here? Nope. She has to just use that. Okay. So, I can enchant it, though. Which is interesting. The inventor Galvino constructed the Devil of Carrick's ornate body out of forged bronze, inlaid with intricate silver panels and featuring elaborate etchings in the Vailian style. Held together with myriad small brass pins and hinges, it is a marvel of craftsmanship and serves as an ambulant vessel for her soul. Whether for aesthetic or functional reasons, Galvino fitted the face with onyx eyes. Their smooth finish reflects the devil's surroundings impassively, though occasionally a glint of imperfections within the stone or some deep-seated spark of malevolence shines through. Cool, cool. So she's not exactly loaded with gear. Let's see. She's a 12th level rogue, like me. She's from the Deerwood. She has 14 might, which is shitty. 11 con, which is shitty but better than mine. 10 dex, which is really shitty. 16 perception, which is okay but a lot worse than mine. 12 vent, which is okay but worse than mine. 15 resolve, which is a ridiculous stat to have as a rogue. Because concentration, deflection, and will is super what a rogue needs in their life. Her mechanics is slightly worse than mine. Actually, it's better. If she had the buff, that I have on right now, the +2 from the Artificer's Hall, her mechanics would actually be better. And her stealth is basically just as good, because I have +2 from an item. Living Machine, immune to dominated, sickened, confused, unconscious, charmed. That's handy. Immune to disease, poison effects, can't use food, drinks, or drugs. She has Blinding Strike, I have that. She has Coordinated Positioning, which I don't have, but kind of wish I had. Death Blows, Finishing Blow. Living Machine. The Devil of Carrick is an extraordinary being. Her artificial body is immune to the effects of poison and disease, but it is unable to process food, drink, and drugs. According to Galvino, the magic of potions affects the devil despite her strange physiology. However, ordinary field triage is useless. She has Reckless Assault. Second Wind, Sneak Attack, Withering Strike. She doesn't have, the other basic one that I have, Crippling Strike. What her problem is. Her weapon focus is Peasant, which is not great, not gonna lie. Not a great weapon focus. This Backstab, she has Deflecting Assault. Some useless ass shit to have. Finishing Blow kind of sucks too, but whatever. She has a bunch of bullshit, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm sick of Durance. I don't like his daily abilities bullshit. Everybody else in my party doesn't have daily abilities. But he does, so now we get rid of that. And then I'm more interested in the story of the Gollum character than... Or let's just call her what she really is. A robot. The fucking robot. I want a robot in my party. Let's keep it real here. I want a robot in my party. So... Weapon focus Peasant. What weapons does that cover? Spear and hunting bow and... Hatchet, quarterstaff. Ugh. Garbage. Hunting bow. I mean, I could give her this. I could unbind it from Kana, but then it would lose everything it's gained so far. I guess it hasn't gained that much yet. Do I have any other... I definitely want her to be ranged. Excuse me. I don't want her running into melee with her general squishiness, getting her ass kicked. They're 177 endurance. What about that new pistol that I just found? What about Fellstroke? Or the pistol that he was using. I mean, she doesn't have the pistol thing, weapon focus, but I can live with that. She's got some good ass accuracy. Oh, because the spear has accuracy on it. And she's using just a one-handed weapon with nothing else. So if I gave her, say, I could give her this bow and enchant it up. This is that bow that I stole off of Sagani. It does pierce or crush damage, which is kind of nice, versus all the things that are immune to pierce. The real question is, would she be better off with this? You know, and I'd put a lash on it, and I might even... I'd make it exceptional. Or would she be better off with one of these weapons? Or forgiveness. She could use this and really kick out some serious damage. 77 accuracy. These pistols have shitty accuracy. But like this ambushing, I wonder if that would stack with her. Because if that would stack with her, sneak attack or whatever, that would be pretty beastly. Especially if I made this exceptional. And put a lash on it. Ooh, bonus to stealth too, which would be nice for her. She could become my new scout, and Katie could get away with not doing it, or they could go together and scout, and like double pull. If they both shot something from stealth at once, it would surely be dead. So that's intriguing. So now her stealth is 10, same as Katie's. When she has the mechanics bonus on, her mechanics would be better. She'd even be able to probably disarm the traps in here, because she'd have a 14. And then for her offhand weapon, she could have St. Giram's Spark. Now if we make this exceptional... $31 to $43. Yeah, it does almost as much as the Arbalest, so that's big damage. And then we'll throw a corrosive lash on there, and maybe we have the most problem with spirits. See, it's got 8 out of 14. Yeah, I'll put Spirit Slaying on there. So she should kick some ass, and then when I get a chance, when she levels up, I'll start getting her all of the requisite talents. I wish I could... Oh, wait, you can respec at the... If you go to an inn, I can respec her and get rid of her useless talents and shit and get the ones I want on her. Oh, that'll be so much better. That'll be so much better. Alright. So we're going to mess about with her equipment and everything and talk to her and go through her whole conversation and all that in our next episode. That is going to do it for this one, however. Thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Pillars of Eternity.